The memories when watching Sabrina the animated series are just so beautiful. Sure, I was never as obsessed with this as I am with the live action show. It's the live action show that I have tattooed to my arm, but I still love the animated series. And watching it now, I have a newfound appreciation for the voice acting that goes into it, particularly with Melissa Joan Hart. Because obviously, here she's voicing Hilda and Zelda. Quite a change from Sabrina, and I think it probably was a challenge to make these characters her own. Because bearing in mind that this show first aired in 1999, when Sabrina, the live action TV series, was in its third, going into its fourth season, Melissa Joan Hart obviously had to make these characters her own while also still working with those characters as presented by Beth Broderick and Caroline Rhea on a regular basis. We also have Emily Hart, Melissa Joan Hart's sister, who plays Amanda Wicken in the TV series, playing Sabrina here. And this first episode, Most Dangerous Witch, is quite a delight. It doesn't give us a full look into Greendale and the characters that we will meet, but it gives us a general overview of the setup. And if you'd never seen Sabrina at all, you would very quickly be able to grasp what was going on. But first, I just want to point out, only now in my adulthood have I realised that Bewitched sang the theme song for this. And I absolutely love the theme. I can't say the word theme song. I absolutely love the intro for this. But with Most Dangerous Witch, Hilda and Zelda are having dreams about the witch smeller, and straight away I thought this reminds me so much of Brad. And Brad is not in the live action show at this point, so I'm wondering if that character actually grew out of the witch smeller. I'd be interested to know if there's any relationship between the witch smeller here and bringing Brad Alcera into the actual TV series for season 4. But the witch smeller is a mortal who had a bad experience with witches and is now obviously out to track down witches, very much like Brad the witch hunter does. And Hilda and Zelda have this premonition that this is going to happen. And unfortunately, while Harvey is over at Sabrina's house, he picks up this amulet, this kind of necklace, not obviously completely unaware that Sabrina is a witch and that this could be magical, and he puts it around his neck, not thinking about anything, and it won't come off, he can't get it off. So he just goes out, leaves the house with it on, and the witch smeller happens upon Harvey, sees this amulet, and thinks that Harvey is obviously a warlock, and Harvey is obviously in danger. And meanwhile, Sabrina is trying to find Harvey and trying to track down the witch smeller with Salem's help, and Hilda and Zelda, of course, are hot on their tails. And then hot on Hilda and Zelda's tails, we have Uncle Quigley. And I love Uncle Quigley, and I often wonder who would have played Uncle Quigley if Quigley had been in the live action show. And to be honest, he's voiced by Brazeau, and I actually think he looks the part as well. I feel like Quigley's actually modelled on his image, and I think he would have been great. He also kind of slightly reminds me of Uncle Mortimer, but I really love the character of Uncle Quigley. I think it's interesting to have a mortal living in the Spellman household. Definitely wouldn't have worked in the live action, so it gives us some different narratives and different storylines to play with. With this first one, we do get the sense that Sabrina is, on the one hand, having to be quite mature and level-headed because she's dealing with this very serious problem in this horrific person, this witch smeller, but she's still also a teenager. In fact, to be honest, I think she's meant to be 12 years old, so I don't think she's actually a teenager yet. She's a preteen, which, again, gives us slightly different narratives to what the live-action show deals with. But the things like her saying she's looking for, I can't remember the phrase she used, but it's like a cute boy with dark hair or something like that when she was describing Harvey. And they go to the mall, and, she kind of thrives on the mall as preteens and teenagers do. So there are elements in this that kind of remind you that Sabrina is quite young, and is obviously much younger than the live action Sabrina. And I think it's a really strong opener. It very quickly establishes who certain members of the household are. Also, it just needs to be said that Nick Bakay as Salem, it would not have worked otherwise. It absolutely would not have worked if Nick Bakay had, for whatever reason, decided not to voice Salem. That's just something that's always got to be, and I love him. Let's face it, he's the voice of my childhood, the voice of my adulthood. Most Dangerous Witch It's a brilliant episode written by Thomas Pugsley and Greg Klein, and brilliantly voice acted by Emily Hart and Melissa Joan Hart and Nick Bakay as Salem. I will never love it as much as the live action show, but I have to say the memories come pretty close. They still make me very happy. I think it's very interesting that this was running alongside the TV show, because most shows that do an animated spin-off of a successful TV series tend to do it once the show has ended, and they can't really be bothered to put the same level of production into another series or another season because the ratings are down, they're not quite getting the money back. But if they did an animated spin-off, the curiosity would draw in viewers. They'd probably get a little bit of money back, more so than they would with doing another season. So it's interesting that it was made really when the show was still in its heyday. It was not even halfway through. Sabrina the Animated Series will always have a special place in my heart, and I do think that The Most Dangerous Witch is a very strong season opener.